Hello, good evening. Welcome to Talkin Kop. It's me, Chris Brack. It's him, Kev O'Sullivan, and we're here to talk about Liverpool against Ipswich. Kev, how you doing? Phil, I've not seen you
Oh,
for
good.
ages. Did you?
Yeah, no, you were away on Tuesday, weren't you? Some or other on Tuesday night. How did you get on?
Yeah.
How did you get on the game?
Yeah, it was good. It was Baltic the last 15 minutes. It proper dropped the last 15 minutes. You were like, oh,
Yeah,
I've got to be honest. Up until we scored, we were all guys all sat around me and with my dad. We all went like, so what do you think of it so far? We went, it's not really happened. Said, if anything, I'm a bit bored. And we scored. You're like, oh, great. But it was a game where it just felt like a training session. That's why the goal was a bit of a I
yeah.
mean, the red card was hilarious because everyone around me was going, "Oh, it's never a red card. It wasn't that bad a tackle." And then everyone's phone flashed up, went, "Oh, second yellow." And they're all going, "I don't remember it being booked." No,
Yeah,
no.
it did feel like that. Even when we were watching it, it was like, look, I thought they were good in the first half. They moved the ball well, but you can see why they're unbeaten as well. They're a decent side, but I felt like we were in
Cruise
third
control.
gear,
Yeah,
managing the game. And I understand where people are watching it, going like, waiting for something to happen. And it feels like that's the kind of control he wants in games. And it's not helter skelter for 90 minutes. You can up it if you need to, but in general, maintain the level, control the game as much as possible, and build from there. But that's the kind of game I saw it as anyway. I just didn't think there was anything much in it.
The only thing I did know is, especially second half, Van Dijk and Alisson were very agitated.
Yeah,
they were getting quite wound up with everyone. That was even before the goal went in. Maybe they were just like thinking it needs to be a bit more slick. But listen, I was a bit like, it got minutes into plays who needed minutes. Chiesa looked really live when he came on. Quite good seeing him off the left. I think the only sour note was Jones potentially pick up a groin injury.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in the morning. What's the story with that?
Yeah, I remember you saying Diaz looked like he'd hurt himself, which we all thought at first, but we saw Costas was like asking him, and he's like thumbs up, like, yeah, it's fine. So it's like he's just gone over his ankle, but got a kick. So
all right, well, we'll see well, I mean, tomorrow morning press conference 9:00 for this game, the Ipswich game. We'll get updates on all the injuries and what's going on, and I'm sure they'll get asked all the usual questions, probably in different ways. And seeing the way Slott's press conferences go over the season so far, he'll flat bat everything away, and
I think so.
Everyone will be sat there like, "Oh, isn't this great?" But we'll see.
But listen, that win, I know I've seen a few in the chat are a bit annoyed that Salah and that started, but Liverpool need that win to guarantee the top two spots, which kind of pretty much paints your path out now, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, I've seen an awful lot of people looking at the draw for the Champions League knockout stages and getting all confused by it and what have you. I mean, look, there was one draw at the very start of the Champions League for the league phase, is who plays where, and that was it. There will be no more draws. There's going to be no more trips to Monaco for balls coming out of pots. That's it. It's literally going to be decided on where you finish in the league table, and from there it goes into the playoffs and then into the brackets for who gets what and when.
15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. You get one of them. You get one of them. I'm assuming because you finish top, you might get, if 18th got through, you get 18th. I think if you finish second, you get 17th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The way I think it works is whoever finishes top, there's two potential opponents in your bracket, and whichever one of those finished the lowest,
you get them.
And so on and so forth.
So based on the current table, it would be Celtic, because it's either Juventus, Celtic, or Bayern, Real Madrid. And at the moment,
presuming Celtic beat Juventus, and what doesn't matter about the other one, Celtic being, as they're the lowest ranked side in the league table, we would get Celtic in the first round of the knockout, or whoever is the next lowest. But
so we'd say no, we get the winners of 16, 17. I literally went on the UEFA website. If you go on the UEFA website and go format, it literally has the draw written out for you, and it says Juventus versus Celtic, Liverpool or Barca, and then it says Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid, Liverpool or Barca, as it currently stands. So literally, it's on the UEFA website.
So whoever wins those two rounds, those two playoff games, whichever one of those two sides finished the lowest in the table is the one that the number one side gets. That's the way I understand it.
What it does do then is once you know that, you pretty much you know you're into the final.
Yeah, Nick is right. It's possible you could get Liverpool v Bayern in the last 16. Absolutely could. Just so happened finished 16th in the.
Well, last time we got Bayern in the round of 16, we won the whole tournament. So I'll be all right with that.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'm all right with that.
So,
I mean, hang on a minute. Robert Maguire, it makes no sense that they didn't have another seeded draw after the playoffs. Why? I mean, I've been having rows with Gav over this. Why is it so complicated for people to understand that the side who finished 9th in the table plays the side who finishes 24th? If the side who finishes 24th beats the side in the playoff over the side who finishes 9th, then fair play to them. But the way they've decided to do it is they've decided to seed the knockout stages 1 to 16. So that it otherwise you don't have a playoff round. If you don't want to have a playoff round and you want everyone to go into like a last 32 or a last,
which is what we have, which is what the old UEFA Cup
was. Knockout. Yeah, if you want to go into a straight knockout, then fine. But they didn't. They wanted to have teams 1 to 8 seeded so they don't have to play playoffs.
But also,
this is the only way.
When it's the last 32 in the Europa League, everyone hated it. Mm-hmm. It's one game too many, so it sort of gives you the benefit of finish top 8. You get an extra 2 days off, so it's less stressing your squad. That's what Liverpool have won themselves. Arsenal have as well. To be fair, they've won themselves.
But Robert, the league. Robert said that because it should be the best teams in the latter stages. Well, the best teams are decided by who finishes where in the league, not who's got the biggest, flashiest name in the club. If Bayern Munich finished 24th in a league table that's seeded 1 to 24, then Bayern Munich are not the best team in the league or even anywhere near close to it.
I think
neither are Real Madrid this season, neither are PSG this season.
Yeah,
it's literally based on the league table. It's who is on merit this season.
I think the likes of Real Madrid, PSG, maybe Bayern Munich are used to coasting. You coast through the group stage, you finish first or second, and then it starts after Christmas. And they've realised now, clubs like Celtic, who got tonked 6-0 by Dortmund. Normally, if you got tonked in the Old Firm 6-0, you're out. That's you done. Pretty much one loss, you're out. Because it's going to be very difficult for you to. Yeah. Whereas now, they get to play sides that are similar levels to, as well as the bigger boys. Exactly. And you can see with the likes of Lille. Lille have gone, sod this, we're going to have a go. Because if we lose, we lose. If we win, cool. And Lille and Brest and, unfancied clubs, Villa, have got themselves in a position now where they've given themselves what they need. So you might find, it wouldn't surprise me, in another year or two of this, the Real Madrid,
they'll tweak it again. But the thing is,
they'll get used to it, as in we'll go hard, and then you'll find in a couple of seasons that everyone goes, right, top 8, 15 points guarantees. Like everyone used to do 10 got you through, 50 will get you through.
But I'm looking at now the likes of your PSG, the likes of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. They're used to being seed 1 in their all groups, right? Mm-hmm. And it would be 1 against 4, 2 against 3. And as long as you got 10 points, you were through. And from there, the draw just evolved, and you rode your luck as you were. This time, it's completely different, and nobody would have picked the current top 8 start of the season right on form in this league format. These are the top 8. Nobody would have done it. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think once the last games are played, and once the playoffs happen, it will just fall naturally.
Yeah,
and that's Avo makes a great point as well. Let me just bring that back up. 1 to 8 get a home leg in the second game. So if it goes that way, it's more of an advantage. Actually, whoever finishes first and second will automatically get the second leg at home for as long as they're in the competition.
So that's your benefit.
So that's your huge advantage.
It also makes it a league. It's called the Champions League. There is more of a league element to it now, because you do actually have to be a bit more consistent now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, It's going to be interesting. I'm enjoying it genuinely.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to next weekend because I don't know. I'm pretty certain that our game won't be a televised game.
They're all televised.
I'm sure they'll all be televised, but it won't be on the main over here.
It'd be like a red. I think on TNT it'd be like a red button thing, won't it?
Yeah, but over here you've got 2 channels that show 2 live games on the same night. So I'm pretty certain that in Ireland the live game won't be Liverpool against PSV. It'll be available somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure City Club Brugge will be televised because that is.
Yeah.
They need the win. There's no way.
Who's in real trouble now? That's the way they got to look at it. And who's capable?
The Villa game will be interesting because are they just outside the playoffs or they just in? They're in that. I think they're one of those clubs in that teetering spot, going like a win and we get top 8. A loss, we're probably in the playoffs. Which, to be honest, for Villa, either one's a good, a good result for them. First season back in the Champions League for a while.
It's massive.
You guaranteed European football till at least February. It's a big thing. For Arsenal, they've secured top 8.
Yeah.
So again, they get to rest their squad in February. So again, it takes it's one less focus for them. Same as Liverpool. I mean, listen, for the PSV game, I would expect a lot of rested lads because
I think. I mean, Ashley made a point the other night, and I think she's right. Arne Slot's not going to want to go back to Holland with his Liverpool side against a side like PSV and show up with 11 changes and 7 kids on the bench from the academy.
No, I don't think that. But it might be like, say, Kwanzaa and Kanate, because
I think
a Gomez and maybe a Bradley and a Robertson. That's your
I think the changes will be from within the normal first team squad.
Yeah. Your front 3 might be if they're all fit. Your front 3 might be Chiesa, Jota, Nunes.
Yeah, and I think Gav made a really good point the other night as well. It's a lot about keeping players ticking over.
Yeah, because
I think a lot of players now don't do well with a week off.
We saw that with the United game. Well, you didn't, luckily.
No, I didn't. But there's every chance I might not see this Saturday's game as well.
Yeah, but
the way things are going here at the minute.
I think players are used to a rhythm. As long as you're not playing them into an injury if they're carrying something, then obviously you give them a rest. But players are used to rhythm. That's how they used to play. Whereas, teams who aren't in Europe, they get knackered when it's 3 games a week.
Did you watch the interview that Rio Ferdinand did with Arne Slot?
Not really, because he grinds my gears. So I'd say
grinds my gears too. But I actually sat and watched it tonight, and Ferdinand was asking him about Mo Salah and his consistency and stuff like that. And Slot was making the point actually that when it comes to training, he's middle of the road, not putting the intensity and the effort in training. But when it comes to match days, you see the real Mo Salah. So maybe that's a way that Mo keeps himself in the physical condition that he's able to turn up and play on match days, week in, week out, consistently. He isn't in any danger of being in a red zone, even with the volume of football that he's playing. Because when it comes to training, he's literally just ticking over in training. He's physically in great shape. He's amazingly fit. But when it comes to practice matches and stuff like that, he made the point, actually, it was funny. He made the points when it comes to shooting practice at the end, he's all about it. Get a few guys and a couple of keepers, and he's all about that. But he's but I'd imagine different players, different strokes for different folks. And when it comes to someone like Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk could be the same. They're seasoned enough pros now to know how to manage their body. Yeah, manage their body through a 50-plus game season.
Whereas Jones is the Elliots, Szoboszlais, who are quite either young or new to club. They probably have to put it in a bit more trade because you've still got to sort of prove your spot. One those sort of things. John's asking, can you be drawn against teams for the same country straight away? Yep, they've got rid of that.
They got rid of that, I think.
They did.
Yeah, they did get rid of that. I think they tried to arrange it so that in the league format.
I think the league format, you avoid it. That's the only time, isn't it?
You avoid it. But when it comes to where every side falls at the end of the league table, it's straight through. The way it's seeded, the way it's going to finish is the way it's going to finish.
Yeah, which to us, I'm all right with. I think that's what it should be. I'm fine with the league format being that way, but I think after the league format, it should just be. It is what it is. What's this?
Paul Gallagher making the point there. Red alert, batten down the hatches and get your sliced pans in. You're not right, lad. I was just telling Chris before we come on air. My missus went to pick my young fellow up from work tonight, and on the road in, she said there was a tree down already. There was branches and bits of wood all over the road, and the wind hasn't really started yet. I can hear it outside at the minute. It's starting to pick up now. It's don't leave the trampoline out, whatever you do. If you're in Ireland and you're in, don't be venturing out until this red warning passes. This is going to be a nasty one.
I don't think it's due to hit us till Saturday-ish, but not to the same level you guys are getting. I think it'd be windy, but
yeah, I think it'll be well past by that stage.
Yeah. Anyway, should we talk about the football? Because we should
talk about Ipswich. Yeah, talk about Ipswich.
Because people are going to get upset so that we haven't mentioned Ipswich. So Ipswich, obviously played their first game of the season, 2-0 win. Not the best first half. Pretty much rolled in the second half. Ipswich have sort of done better as the games have gone on, as in like they kept themselves in games. They've struggled to see games out, but they've always made them difficult. Probably until City at the weekend, where they got absolutely owned by Man City, which got a lot of people excited, because City had beaten Ipswich and Salford, and then we saw against PSG. Yeah, but when they play a good side with pace, they're still knacked.
Yeah. Look, I watched back the highlights today of the first game of the season, and we created an awful lot of chances in that game. I mean, 2-0 really flattered Ipswich at the end of it. I mean, I know Kwanzaa was hauled off at halftime, and that became the story. But in truth, they had a couple of half chances, but in general, we managed them pretty well. Plus, it was the first meaningful game under Arne Slot.
Yeah,
and everyone was waiting and watching to see what was it going to be like with us. What's the difference is going to be, and we saw it straight away. And we've evolved. We've gotten better since then. But yeah, in that second half, we scored 2. But in truth, we should have had about another 2 or 3.
Well, Jota missed a sitter before he opened the scoring, didn't he? He literally missed an open goal, and then 2 weeks later scores a more difficult chance.
Yeah, and I think Trent had a good chance. Diaz had a good chance to win over the bar. It was,
and Song says that it was Gavin the sixth the first time, which was a bit of a okay, because there was always that what we're going to do, because Curtis had picked up a niggle, hadn't he, in pre-seasons, because we thought he was going to do the 6th job.
Yeah,
and to be fair, he hasn't looked back, Grav, since we put him there. He looked excellent.
He hasn't. And in fairness, I'd recommend anyone, and as much as I don't like Rio Ferdinand, I'd recommend anyone go back and watch because he's done about a 10 minutes stint on the tactics board, talking about different players. And Gravenberch was the first one he talked about, and he made the point where you've got normal players who play the role as a number 6. Their first get out of jail free card is generally the pass. You receive the ball, you lay it off, and you pass your way out of trouble. With Gravenberch, he's one of the few players in world football that play that 6 role, and they can dribble their way out of trouble. And you saw some examples of
that body swerve's great at it.
Yeah, the body swerve, the fact that he's willing to knock it past someone and just run onto it and make stuff happen. There's not many, and there's none that come to mind straight away. There's not many 6s. I suppose Caicedo is one of those who can run with the ball. But Gravenberch is, because he's a natural 8, he's a natural centre mid or attacking midfielder who can run with the ball. He's having that ability to do that in the 6. Rodri doesn't really do it.
No, he does. He does. He's more give and go, but he's a powerful runner onto the ball. When he runs onto the ball, when he's running onto the ball, good luck stopping him.
Yeah,
especially when he's near the edge of the area. So it's just different ways of playing it, isn't it? Fabinho was very much more of a give and go. He had that drive every now and again. He didn't use it. Looking back, probably should have used it more, because actually when he drove forward, he got, he was quite good at winning the cheap fouls and getting stuff like that. So
I mean, good. Red Steve makes a point there. I still wouldn't mind a proper 6, a proper dirty number 6. Yeah, we have one of those. His name's Zenda, and Endo.
Oh, he was great. He was great. He was great when he came against Lille. Oh.
He loves snapping people, doesn't he?
Oh, he did. He did. But what I also like about it, he's got the James Mill thing. Someone snaps him, he just gets up and goes, fair enough. We'll play that game. And it's just, he just goes, well, fair enough. Okay. And carries on.
Well, back onto Ipswich. So Ipswich are sat at the minute on 80, on 16 points, level with Wolves. But, I think, 4 goals worse goal difference. They've won only 3 games, lost 12. But as you said, they hadn't really been tonked until last weekend against Man City. And I watched a bit of Ipswich this season. It's the first time I can remember off the top of my head them switching tactically in a game, that they went away and played 5-4-1. They tried to play at the back. They tried to play the counter-attacking game, get the ball up to Liam Delap and try to support him that way. I mean, they've played defensively, but it's generally been with a back 4. And I think if you're going to experiment with that, playing against any version of Man City is probably not a good idea. It was, they switched it in game, but even still, it was just Man City on the day just had fun. It was men against boys. And I think that could have done a lot of damage to their confidence. The players there would have, we'll have a go. We'll do our very best to stay up. But I think Everton's win and Spurs are on 24. So odds are Spurs ain't going to get drawn into it. So it's likely Everton, Wolves, Ipswich, and Leicester fighting for 2 spots between 4 clubs.
So. I don't see Everton getting dragged into it. I just feel I think that win against Spurs would have done the world good. The fact they got scoring again, scoring 3. I did say to you, if you 3-0 down to Everton at half time, it should be an instant sackable offence. That, to be honest.
Yeah, I think. Look, the only danger for us this weekend is I think a lot of it is mental. It's players thinking, it's Ipswich. They've just been tonked 6 by Man City. We're flying. We're top of the league. We're in great form. We're high scorers in the league. We've got the most points. We've most clean sheets. We're blah, 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 blah. And they take their eye off the ball. And the fact that we're at home.
Yeah.
I think that's a danger. We've seen that version of Liverpool turn up a few times a season. And it's usually against a side like that, a side like a Bournemouth under Eddie Howe, those kinds, those kind of games, that can, because Ipswich, when they'll have got promoted, they'll have looked, okay, when are we going to Anfield? When are we going to Old Trafford? When are we going to the Emirates? When are we going to play, Man City? They'll have chalked off these fixtures. This will be up there for a lot of those players as the calendar fixture that they'll have been looking forward to most since being promoted. They have a young manager who wants to make a name for himself. They have players who, some of them are definitely going to be looking to impress, to push for moves in the summer. And no better stage than to do it at Anfield. And if we're not right on our game, right at it, then we could open the door to banana skin that we really don't need.
After all that, you're going to say 6-0 Liverpool.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm only joking because people get accused of jinxing it and all sorts. Let's go for a lineup then. So I'll start naming it. You butt in when you think I'm wrong, which probably won't take very long.
No, probably not.
Yeah, Alisson in goal.
Yeah.
Back 4 of Trent, Canate, Van Dijk. I think Simicast keeps his place.
Yeah, so do I.
Midfield, Grav, Szoboszlai, McAllister. I'm not sure Jones will make the squad.
No,
Front 3, I think it's Gakpo and Salah. And I would like him to do Nunes again. I don't think Diaz was great. I don't think Diaz was great against Lille. I actually thought Nunes' link-up play actually was fairly good. Wasn't amazing, but he was fairly good. But Diaz looked a bit off it. And the fact he rested Gakpo for Lille says he started.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Diaz given a rest. I didn't like his last performance in the middle, for us.
He looked off, didn't he?
It wouldn't do him any harm to come out for a game. And unfortunately, Jota looks like he's picked up a knock, so it is going to be Darwin. And look, in a game like this, it's a game that he should get chances in. I have on the post-match show, and it only confirmed what I thought, when I watched it back. His work rate off the ball, his tackling, his harassing defenders.
That was great.
Up there.
Even when he missed control of the ball, his tracking back was impressive. His link play was quite good. Unfortunately for him, he probably had 2 chances. One he's miles offside for, and he doesn't read the situation. The back heel to set up Keys for the shot is great, but he doesn't read the situation to get himself back on line, which is a bit frustrating. And the one where he's put through, which he just tries to blast it past the keeper, which is that's how Darwin finishes.
Yeah. I think he'll start. I can't see a world where Mo Salah doesn't start, but I'll be honest, Chiesa and Elliott did their case no harm to be getting more minutes off the bench. And I think that given the injuries to Jota and to Jones, there's every chance that you could see the likes of Chiesa, the likes of Harvey Elliott, maybe on 60, 70 minutes, and say, look, depending on, it doesn't even matter the situation of the game. I think they should be looking at on merit. Okay, you're going to come in. You're my first choice. You're my second choice. There's no reason why they shouldn't. I love
how direct Chiesa is. What I've noticed is what was Accrington Stanley. So bit of temper the expectation. But even against Lille, he loves getting a shot off, and they nearly always work in the keeper. It's low and hard. It's in the corner. It sounds very basic stuff, but it works because he causes chaos, and he's a weird player because the way he runs, he doesn't look quick. As in, like, his running style is quite languid. But there was one pass that was played thinking, oh, that's going out for a throw in. And I couldn't believe he caught up with it because I was like Cisse level quickness. I was like, oh, wow, but it doesn't look like he's running hard, if you know what I mean.
Oh, no, he's always been rapid. He's always been rapid. But I like that, actually. I think he is deceivingly quick.
Yeah, I think it's his style, the way he runs, or his body language. It just doesn't look like he's not trying hard. It just doesn't look fast, if you know what I mean. But then you see Disney covers, you go, well, he clearly is. It's a hard thing to explain, if you know what I mean.
I think Gav made a great point the other night when he was talking about him. He's very Mo Salah when it comes to defending and tracking back. In the case, he likes to be the one that cheats.
Yes.
You can't have 2 of them on the pitch.
No.
You can have one or the other, but you can't have 2.
No, the only time you can have 2 is if it's a very, very comfortable situation.
Yeah, but I think it's not in his DNA, in his makeup, because I think he's spent his entire career. I don't think he's had to do it that much. So it's different. But
although bless Mo, he was at right back for a little bit, which was quite funny to watch. And then and then you saw him shout to Bradley, and it was almost the phrase of, "That's enough. Yeah. You go back now." I mean, I've done my right back stints.
I look at this and say, you look at the rest of the fixtures over the weekend. This is a case of, look, turn up with the right mindset, do your job, and you would expect
Arsenal to win. You'd expect Arsenal to win, wouldn't you? So Wolves away is tricky, but you would expect them to beat Wolves away.
I think this weekend, the way the fixtures are, I'm just going to get them up there now for the weekend's fixtures. It's a lot of games you expect the bigger sides to win. I mean, we'll chat about the fixtures at the weekend. There's one standout fixture for sure. There's a couple of decent games, but there's one standout fixture. But the rest of them, you expect Arsenal to beat Wolves. You expect Newcastle to beat Southampton. Forest Bournemouth will be interesting. Unfortunately, it's kicking off the same time as us. That's a massive test. But we have to be doing our job at home. And my biggest worry for us is that we take our eye off the prize. We take our eye off the ball in a game like this. That's the only danger. I can't see, unless you have one of those days, which is possible, where their keeper has a worldie, where every shot you take is just shinned, hits the post. One of those games, one of those days.
Yeah.
But all things being equal, all things being square, you should have a comfortable enough afternoon where you can manage the game, play within yourself, get your win, get your 3 points. Pray to God nobody gets injured. and you look forward to the next game. Well, that should be the mindset. Just tick it off. Just tick that box, get it out the way, get it done, get your points, get up to 53, and just say to the others, all right, can you keep up?
Yeah,
that's what you need to be saying there.
Go on, then give us a score prediction for us, and then we'll have a bit of a run through, like the old Fridays. We'll do a bit of run through the fixtures.
Look, I think 3-0. I think Salah gets back on the score sheet. I think Darwin will get one. I think Salah get 2, actually. I think Salah get 2 and Darwin will get 1.
Oh, I just took my score. I'll go 4-1. I'll say Salah get 1, Gakpo will get 1, Nunes will get 1, and Chiesa will get his first Prem goal.
Pierce is rattled in there with a 3-1. With
come on, guys! You know the rules. You got to get the goal scorers as well.
O'Shea's 3-0. Salah, Nunes, Elliott off the bench.
I was pleased he got his goal actually off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, look, huge deflection. Should have been their own goal, really. But look,
yeah,
James goes 2-0. No, I'd be happy with a 2-0. I'd be happy with a 2-0. You know, at the end of the day, 3 points is 3 points. When you look back at the end of it,
you go.
That's all you care about, you know.
He's put his goal scorers in now. There you go. Salah and Gakpo too. That's all right then. I'll be all right with that.
Yeah. Well, Bob went 4-0. Yeah, look, it's just for me. I hate games like this in a lot of ways, mainly because I've watched enough bad performances where you struggle against sides where you should be.
It's also a bit of a no-win because even if you win, you don't win by a certain amount. People won't be happy. You know, I mean, look. That's just the way it is sometimes. Hotline's gone 2-1, Gakpo and Van Dijk. I hope it's not as close as that, but you never know. They are awkward. So we will see. Right, so other games then. So we've got no early kickoff.
No early kickoff. There's a late kickoff. There's a late kickoff on the Sunday evening. Yeah. Fulham Manchester United, because United played tonight.
Yeah, but let's go through the other games then. So we've got Bournemouth against Forest. And we've got to keep an eye on Forest results at the moment because, you know, they're in the same points as Arsenal. Interesting game that'll be because Bournemouth were excellent at Newcastle, but they've literally got 11 lads fit. I mean, if you want to talk about injuries, that's injuries. You know, not what Arsenal are making out.
Yeah, it's injuries, mate, but they don't care.
No,
that's what I admire about it. They don't care.
Ways. They've got no striker, and they played a winger up front. We'll find a way. And Kluivert's just hit in an amazing vein of form.
Yeah. It's like that's what you need. You need one of your whenever you hit a vein of form like this, you need something to go right for you. You know, when you've got a load of injuries, you just need something to go. That's probably the one thing I suppose Spurs haven't had is when they've had the injuries at the back and the problems in midfield. The only one you could hang your hat on is Dom Solanke.
And he's out for 6 weeks. And he's out for 6 weeks now.
He's out for 6 weeks now. But yeah, it's a big test for Bournemouth in the way they play because Forest away are going to be the exact same as Forest at home.
And they're playing Christie at right back. You know, because they've actually lost. I was listening to a podcast earlier. They had 3 registered right backs. One they agreed to loan to Valencia, and the other two are injured and out for ages. So you know, that's pretty unlucky when you lose 3 right backs.
Yeah, but I'd say it'll be a massive feather in their cap if they can get a result against Forest, and I think they can. I hope they can. Because
I'm going to go 2-2.
No, I think Bournemouth beat them 3-1. The reason I hope they beat them is because I hate Forest style of football with an absolute passion, and it deserves to win the thing. It deserves not to win anything. It deserves not to be successful at anything. And I want to see sides that attack, that commit, that take risks. I want to see that style of football rewarded. So I hope Bournemouth smash them. And I couldn't care less where Forest are on the table.
Brighton against the Ev. The Ev trying to throw away a 3-0 lead against Spurs, which takes some doing. But the Ev have a good record at Brighton. They've had some big wins at Brighton quite recently when they've been absolutely crap for the last couple of years.
Yeah, but it's one of those Brighton at home, especially Brighton are good side at the minute, you know. But
it's this sort of game they've been dropping points in Brighton, isn't it? Yeah. The game you expect them to win. They've been.
Yeah, I still fancy Brighton to win it. I don't think Moyes is gonna. I don't think Moyes has the magic wand to fix everything just yet, and you can't judge anyone on a result against Spurs because everyone's beaten them. So look, I think Brighton beat them. I think 2-0. I'd be surprised if Brighton don't get a win there.
Yeah, I think so. Next one, Southampton versus Newcastle. Southampton are absolutely atrocious. Newcastle up before the Bournemouth game were in a really good vein of form, and that was Isak was on a goal scoring hot streak, and they were well beaten by Bournemouth. But you'd expect to bounce back quite comfortably against Southampton.
Yeah, I think Isak should be looking at this game as nothing but pure stat padding. He should be going into this game hungry for goals. The same with Gordon. They should be looking to say, right, I'm going to rattle 3 and 4 here, and I'm going to really push Mo Salah hard.
Yeah, I think so. You'd be surprised it's not 3 or 4 to Newcastle. It just feels like that sort of game. Wolves at home to Arsenal. Wolves away can be tricky. We found it tricky for us. I think it was just after an international break, but Arsenal, even with the players they've got missing, I would still expect Arsenal to be beating Wolves.
I would too.
Even with no Saliba. Though I do think he should play I'm surprised he didn't use Kivior at centre-back. I know he's left-sided. Maybe he doesn't like 2 left-sided centre-backs playing together. They've got unwritten law that 2 left-footers can't play at centre-back.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what kind of performance Matheus Cunha puts in this one, or if he even plays. There's an awful lot of talk about him potentially being on the move in this window. So
there's rumours of Wolves would accept 60. Once you know a price for a player, that gives you an idea. But it's a big chunk of change. He's a good player, but
he's a good player. But I think that might be the going rate for a striker in January when you're panicking. When you're in panic mode and you have to do business, the price tends to go through the roof.
Who would you prefer? You can guarantee him at the same price, same money. João Pedro or Cunha? I'd go João Pedro. Both like to drop. Both like to drop false 90. Both got a good eye for a pass. I think there's a bit more goals than João Pedro.
I think Cunha knows the role better. But I think João Pedro is probably a couple of years younger, and he's got room to grow. I think the version of Matheus Cunha. Yeah, I think the version you're seeing of Matheus Cunha at Wolves now, I don't think he's going to get better than what he is at the minute. Look, I think he's a really good player. He's not the answer to Arsenal's problems.
No, I don't think so.
By a stretch. I think he'd be a terrible bit of his business for Arsenal, so I hope it happens. But I don't think either of them are where the direction that we're going to be going in the summer, for sure. I just don't see it.
Who do you think? What's your gut feeling? Or what type of player are you thinking?
Okay. If in the summer...
This is your ITK.
If we in the summer lose Mo Salah, I think we will go all out to go and sign Alexander Isak in the summer. And I think we'll look to bring in a winger that is in the Anthony Gordon mould. Someone who's a provider, who's pacey, who's got a goal threat, but isn't your out-and-out main man for scoring. I think we will do our level best to go out and sign an Isak or a Gorkarez or someone of that ilk. A number 9 who's going to bag goals. That would just be my feeling.
What if Salah stays?
If Salah stays, I still think we look to bring in a striker, but I don't think we look to spend that kind of money. I think
not even if like a Nunes and a Jota go.
No, I don't think, because then you're talking wholesale changes in the squad. I don't know. I don't know, and that's the truth. I look around at the money that Man City paid for. We'll come on to Man City next. But I look at the money that Man City have paid for a guy to sit behind Haaland on the bench. I'm like, you're absolutely off your tree. You're absolutely off your tree to be spending that kind of money on that player on the strength of a year. He's 25 years of age. He's showing you he's never been on anyone's radar up until a year ago. I get the idea that some players develop faster than others, but I've seen players a lot of players coming out of the Bundesliga with much better goal scoring records than he's got, and absolutely tank in the Premier League. Christopher Nkunku comes to mind straight away.
Yeah.
You know, I think the jury is massively out on that deal. Massively out.
Yeah. Speaking about City, they had a great game against PSG.
Yeah, it was a belter of a game. Belter of a second half. Let's put it that way. Belter of a second half.
2-0 up, you thought, of, oh, we go, City are done. And then 4-3. Did you think I've got to ask Kev, why did it take so long to give that fourth goal? On the first replay, you went, that's it, City player. So he's not offside. I don't know why that took so long to work out.
I think it was because of the momentum of the game, the way it was going, and it was the game to kill. It was the goal to kill the game. They had to check that if it came off a City player first, but I think they probably checked the offside first and then checked to see where the ball came from, rather than the other way around. I think that's the only thing that, to me, that would have taken the time.
Yeah. So City, so throw away 2-0 lead. I mean, they literally brought John Stones on and he misses a header, and they go 3-2 down. So, you know, good subs there. Chelsea just keep ticking along. Talk is now they're after Garnacho. Rumours are 70 million. So another ex-United winger they're after. So that would say to me one of their wingers is also probably off because there's only so many you can contain. But would you fancy Chelsea for this? Because they're pacing the break and City don't really like facing pace at the moment. They don't seem to have the mobility. I know they're missing Rodri, but just in general, that midfield doesn't seem to have the mobility against any sort of pace.
No, I don't. I think City have beat them purely simply because Haaland. I just think Haaland with Chelsea centre backs, he's chopping and changing his centre backs now a lot more than he used to.
Chalobah's back in now, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, he's played one game. You know, it's too many changes in that Chelsea squad at the minute. I just don't think Chelsea have enough to go there and win. Saying that, they have the quality of forward players to give Man City a lot of headaches. But I just think City should have enough.
Brian, it's at City, the game.
Yeah, it's at City. Yeah, City are home. They should have. Man City should have enough to beat Chelsea, but it's one of those. I think this could be a 4-0 to Man City. It could be a 3-2 to Chelsea.
I'm going to go for a 2-2.
I'm just going to sit and watch it and enjoy it for what it is because.
But isn't it nice watching this Chelsea game where we can actually go? Don't really care what the result is because actually
don't matter.
It doesn't add any stress to our lives at the moment, which is
no
quite a nice place here. Where before we'd all be like, "Oh, we need Chelsea to win here. We need Chelsea to do us a favour." It's quite nice actually just to not have that worry in your life.
Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, you go into Sunday. There's 4 games Sunday, but it's like Palace Brentford. Palace Brentford could actually be a cracker of a game.
Fancy Palace for that. Because Brentford's away record atrocious, but Palace actually are really hitting their straps now with the manager, which is good.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think I'd go Palace 2-0. But again, I enjoy watching Brentford play. I enjoy watching how they set up going forward, really. But again, I want to see what Palace do. I like watching Palace youngsters, see who's coming through and what have you. So,
listen, if you're a young player, or if you're doing well in the Championship, Palace is actually one of the clubs you want to go to get to blood yourself in the Premier League because you'll get chances. It's good football, you know. It's a good crowd, you know. The atmosphere is always good there. And
Jonathan's actually one thing there. Jonathan's asking there: did Ruben Diaz come off injured the other night? I don't know, but I think they were kind of rushing him back a bit to be available for that game last night. Honestly, I mean, they're lucky. To me, City are lucky that it's Bruges they're playing.
Yeah.
And
it's at home.
Yeah. Then if they had to go and play, say, I don't know, an Atletico Madrid or something like that. You know, it's not a tricky tie.
Before we do any more fixtures, don't forget our charity sponsors. So we've got the Lighthouse Cafe in Dublin, which is helping feeding the homeless in Dublin, and we have fan supporting food banks in Liverpool. We're aiming to raise €10,000, 5,000 for each charity. So links in the description below. If you can give, please give. If you can't, share it around all of your social medias, WhatsApp groups. Try and raise this money. Song is saying Pep Guardiola confirmed Ruben Diaz asked to be replaced, so he must have felt something then. Spurs against Leicester. I would assume Spurs will win because Leicester are atrocious, but Spurs are also.
You just don't fucking know.
No,
I mean they won 3-2 tonight from being really comfortable against a side like I think it was Hoffenheim they were playing.
Yeah, who aren't in great shakes.
They aren't in great shape. They're really struggling, Hoffenheim, and they almost managed to contrive a way to throw that away as well. You never know what you're going to get with Spurs.
Yeah. And they had 3 or 4 lads. They had 3 or 4 lads who couldn't play tonight because they were ineligible, didn't they? Like the keeper and that.
Yeah. But look, they got their the fans have got their Spurs back. This is the Spurs that we know and love for the last 20, 30 years. Score loads of goals.
Concede loads.
Really exciting. But you never know what you're going to get, and they'll never win anything. Hey, Spurs.
Villa against West Ham, which I think will be a good game to watch.
That's a real belter. That's a potential. Has the potential to be a really good game.
And listen, Villa will be smart enough to losing 1-0 in Monaco because they need to get something in their last game now. West Ham have had a week off. New manager. No fit strikers. Apparently, they're looking at a lad from RB Leipzig whose name escapes me. Thank you.
Andre Silva.
They're looking at him on loan, I think, because they need a striker in. I think Brentford have turned down a bid for Wissa, which I can't remember if it's from West Ham or Forest.
Nottingham Forest. That was Nottingham Forest.
Was it one of them was interested, but the talk was Yamana used to play for Liverpool. Who's that? Forest.
Tayo Wani.
There was talk of West Ham wanting him on loan. But only if Forest could get him Wissa.
Yeah, but I think that kind of a move, if they go for Andre Silva, that ends any notion of Arsenal going out, being able to get Ben Sesko out of RB Leipzig this January.
According to certain Arsenal fans, Sesko is never coming to Arsenal because Jurgen Klopp won't allow it because he's in charge of Red Bull and that's how it works.
That's a new way of looking at football, I suppose.
Yeah, so it's also Liverpool's fault now they haven't signed a striker because we've kiboshed that as well. We're doing fairly well at kiboshing things, aren't we?
Yeah, very good.
But yeah, yes. I think Villa win because it's at Villa, but I think it'll be an entertaining game.
Yeah, do you know what? I haven't watched West Ham in a while since we've played them.
Not surprised when they're that Muppet in charge of them.
There's that, and I want to see what the latest Muppet can do with them because he took a year out of the game.
Yeah,
and
I suppose for him, he's actually got like a bit of a. This is like a 6-month pre-season for him, isn't it? Because ultimately, they're not going to get relegated. They probably could, when he took over, not really going to get Europe. So he's almost got 6 months now of trying things out, trying out a couple of youngsters, and then he can proper say in the summer, this is who I need, this is how I want to play, and I've got 6 months under my belt. It's a bit like a head start, isn't it, really, I suppose?
It can be, but at the same time, you still want to try to finish as high as possible because the last thing you want is a rot setting in. I think he'll want to establish quickly how he wants to set up and how he wants to play, and the players have to adapt to that. We'll see how the players react to how he sets up games. But the other side of it is as well, they do have some talent there, and I think Potter was harshly treated at Chelsea. I think Chelsea at the time were a complete and total basket case. He left Brighton having done a really good job, went to Chelsea, and it was just an absolute nightmare. But we'll see how he goes with West Ham. I agree with you. I fancy Villa to beat them. But at the same time, I want to see what a few of the West Ham players can do. They'll have to adapt somehow without a number 9. But, it's not as if...
They put Kudus down the middle.
I think that's how they'll have to go.
With no Bowen. I mean, the Bowen injury is probably the biggest blow. So, I mean, losing your 2 other strikers is a blow, but Bowen can play through the middle and he's a handful.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then late Sunday night, 7 p.m, Fulham at home to Man United, who squeaked past Rangers in a mad game. Again, looks like they may have picked up injuries. There's a couple of odd subs. There's a manager is apparently smashing up TV screens and telling them they're all a bag of shite and saying they're the worst Man United side. It's going well. And Fulham are in really good form and play attractive football. And as we see at Anfield, they're a right pain in the arse for them. And I mean that as a compliment. They're a nightmare to play.
It's very rare that I'll have ever said this in my life. I fully expect Fulham to beat Manchester United, and I fully expect them to beat them comfortably. It's just alien to me to be able to say that with a straight face and being able to back it up, because Manchester United at the minute are atrocious. I watched that so-called Battle of Britain tonight, and how I didn't fall asleep watching that dross.
I'm still trying to work out how Butland managed to punch a ball backwards into his own net, which I thought was quite a skill.
It takes. I mean, look, the goal that got chalked off should never have been chalked off.
No, it was a ridiculous decision.
Butland did his level best to throw one in. You know, he did his level best to throw one in. But United were atrocious. They were so poor. I don't think they've got the squad to play the way he wants to play. I don't think the players are completely buying into the way he wants to play. And I think he's completely, totally frustrated by what he's seeing on and off the pitch.
I did wonder this. I think a few other people have said as well is, you know, we are the worst Man United side. You know, this is going to be difficult, but we're going to get through it. I would have had a little bit of job preservation, because I also wonder if he probably knew the job in hand, because obviously he wouldn't have took the job.
Yeah.
But I just wonder when he's walked in and just seen the level, it's almost like gone, shit, this is worse than I was expecting. And this is almost like he wants to also put out, it's the worst Man United side, so he can say something, I need this many players. If you don't give me, this won't work. And it's almost like saying, like, I might just go in the summer anyway. You can sack me.
I agree with you with the self-preservation. I think that's exactly what it was.
I mean, the worst Man United is the one that got relegated in the 70s. That's the worst one.
You could look at Manchester United from the outside looking in. You can look at the results. You can look at the players and say, okay, this doesn't work. That doesn't work. The midfield is this, that, and I think when you're actually on the inside and he's seeing the attitude, the attitude of the players. I think there's a few players there who really want to fucking try and really want to do something. They're generally the younger ones. The likes of Ahmad looks a decent talent.
Yeah, he looks very good.
Mainu looks a decent talent. Even in fairness, the Turkish keeper, I don't think he's a bad keeper at all. But
he looks like he gives a shit as well.
I just look at the signings that they've made over the last 4 windows, and they are so far out. I don't care what they do in the summer. I don't care who they buy in the summer. It doesn't matter. So far away.
But the big problem is the talk is, I know nobody got breached for it, but the talk is they're not far off a PSR challenge with their spending. And if you look at the lads who are out of the contract in the summer, the lads who don't really touch the size is that backup left back doesn't really play. Tom Heaton, third choice goalkeeper. Johnny Evans probably was going okay, and Ericsson. That's it. The rest are all on at least another year, 2-3 years, and you're going like the big contracts, and who's going to buy them off their big contracts? So you're in that catch-22 where, you know,
they're not good enough to command the fees that Manchester United need to get in. None of them. I mean, Tommy makes a point there that Mainu's overrated. If you look at the English media and judge how he's rated, then I mean, they think he's the second coming. He's not. He's a really good talent. You know, he's a really good talented midfielder. Garnacho, good talented winger. You know, for the life of me, would be snapping your hand off if Chelsea are offering 70 million for him, because he's not worth anywhere near that. He's worth half that. You know, because he's got so far to go. But this is why I like FFP. This is why I like PSR. If you move badly in the transfer window, you really should be punished for it. And United are being heavily punished now through PSR for bad transfer deals. that they can't just chop and change and go and buy their way. Because look, Manchester United as an entity, as a club, can go out and afford to buy whoever they want. But because of the rules that are set within PSR, they're not allowed to. So I think that having that penalty in place where if you buy badly and the results aren't there on the pitch and you can't just chop and change all the time because you won't get those fees again, I think it's a brilliant way of how PSR works. And I think clubs like Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Brighton have taken full advantage of those kind of rules because they're seeing clubs buy badly in transfer windows, and they're turning around. Their transfer policy, their buying policy is really good. They're buying with a plan, and they're reaping the rewards for it. Whereas clubs like Manchester United, Chelsea to a point, Arsenal to a point, because one or two bad signings not plugging the right holes where they need to be plugged, then you can't just go out. It's like Chelsea. I'm sure Arsenal would love to go out and buy the best number 9 available in the market right now, and it would push them closer to a title. But at the minute, they just can't afford to do it. So I like it. I'm all right with it. I think we're in a really good spot because we're so well run. Chris, your phone is right by your.
It's miles away. It's miles away. It's the the room.
Yeah, I'm getting massive feedback here for some reason.
Oh, right. And my phone's the other side of the desk.
All
it's
right,
nowhere near me. So
I'm just getting massive feedback at the minute.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's gone there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fully expect Fulham to beat them, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 3-1 or something like that.
Mm. Could you see a situation where they sack him before the season? I can't, but I don't think they can afford to.
By all accounts, it cost them something like 18 million to sack Ten Hag because he just signed a new extension, didn't he?
Yeah. Then again, knowing the current owner they've got now, he'll sack him and he'll just sack a lot of the work, a lot of the stewards or something, or take the pay cuts down because
I think
his way of saving money is to go for the people at the bottom. You're the ones basically you probably can't afford to have this taken off them, rather than looking at the bigger picture, which is agents' fees, the amount of wages you're paying out to people, those sort of bonuses, what you're paying your very big directors who aren't doing the job. That's probably where he needs to look. But
it is. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think Fulham beat them. I'm just having a quick look there at the gossip pages for tomorrow, just before we go. Apparently, Dortmund are stepping back into the race for Marcus Rashford, but the wages are the stumbling block. Dortmund need Manchester United to carry a lot of these wages. Plus, Dortmund have just got rid of Nuri Sahin. So apparently, Man City are still interested in Italy fullback Andrea Cambiaso. No relation.
But the reckon isn't it like 60+ million? For it?
65 million euro, 54.8 million. I think it must be a buyout. It must be a buyout in his contract because I just don't see Man City spending anywhere near. Although it's Man City, you never know. But
no,
I think Juventus would absolutely jump at the chance to be able to take that kind of a fee for a left back. Full stop. So we'll see what happens with that one. Looks like Zinchenko could be on his way to Dortmund, and Dortmund also have an eye on
the Arsenal lad.
Yeah, Alexander Zinchenko could be on his way to Dortmund, and apparently they have a backup. Their backup is Bin Chilwell. Bin Chilwell's only 28. I didn't realize that. I thought he was older than that. He's only 28.
Yeah, he's been around for ages, but he's never fit. He's very rarely fit.
But he's never fitted at Chelsea. He had 1 or 2 good seasons, I think, when they were playing with the wing backs.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, his best time really was when he was at Leicester. The other one, apparently, Scotland left back Kieran Tierney is on the verge of agreeing a pre-contract return to Celtic on a free at the end of the season. And as we said earlier, Andre Silva is a possible loan target for West Ham, but will return to Ajax Netherlands. West Ham will return for Ajax Netherlands striker Brian Broby if they fail to secure the Portugal forward.
Brian Broby's probably got a bit more of the Antonio style about him.
I think he would be a very clever bit of business for West Ham.
He's got Anfield, didn't he? I vaguely remember.
Yeah, he's a decent talent. I watched him for the Netherlands. He generally comes off the bench when he plays for Holland. He's Mikel Antonio, very similar kind of body shape. That barrel.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
so probably
big, he's not big and tall, but he's physical and he likes to run as well. There was another Dutch winger that was like, oh God, what was his name? He went to Spurs and it never worked out.
God, it could be anyone.
Oh no, it was a Dutch winger who went to Spurs. Bergwijn.
Oh yeah, remember him.
Yeah, Bergwijn. Yeah, he's very similar in body shape to that. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if West Ham had a pop and maybe tried to do that kind of a deal. We'll see. Yeah, that's it, Bryce Bergwijn. But yeah, look, that's all that's in the gossip pages at the minute. But look,
anyone for Liverpool?
Anything can happen. Good God, no. No, we don't need anyone. We're good. Contrary to popular opinion, I'm quite comfortable with the squad that we have. I don't expect us to be doing anything. It'd be interesting to see. I think there'd be a big tell for us in this window if Dan's goes out on loan. If Dan's goes out on loan, that means he's confident and that Jota isn't really far away from full match fitness.
There was a little bit of leak from the local press that Jota injury is not serious, but Dan's may not go on loan, which goes, that means that it's more than a week.
Yeah, that's a bit like, we'll see how it goes towards the very end of the window because the name I saw linked was Stoke. Now, look, I don't know how Stoke play. I don't know what kind of football they play at the moment.
Lewis Kumas is doing well there, isn't he?
Yeah, so if you've got one player there, it'd be nice to have a second one there. But we'll see. I think that's the only one I think where we could see a bit of movement for us will be that loan player. You could see actually some of the other younger lads,
McConnell's. I think Stoke are after him as well. So
but they can only have two.
Yeah,
you can only have two from one club on loan. So,
but I think if Dan's and McConnell are going to go, I think they'll go after the FA Cup fourth round.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it'll be towards the back end of the window.
That tends to be when the youngsters go, and obviously you'll have a good idea then whether you've got anyone with a serious name.
I just look at the squad at the minute, and bar Joe Gomez, I think everyone else is pretty much there where we need. So I think we're absolutely fine. I mean, look,
I suppose the only concern would be if that Jones groin injury is a serious one, whether that will force.
Even then, Harvey hasn't really kicked the ball in anger all season. You know,
I just feel like I meant more of a physical.
Yeah, but option. I just don't see. Look, I don't see us going out spending a bob on a player to come into the squad to fill a gap.
Unless it's like a DL situation where it's a summer option that goes, no, someone who did wanted them in the summer and they go, oh, actually, let's go for him now.
We knew weeks beforehand.
Yeah, that's very true.
It was in the air. It was in the air that we were in for Diaz. It was in the air that we were looking at Gakpo for a good few months. There is no talk coming out of anyone for anyone. You know, it's literally picture no sound as far as the clubs are concerned, because there isn't a single leak out of anyone for anyone.
But on the positive side, though, I am loving some of these ITKs who've got an exclusive every day. They're great, these exclusives. Say lots of words that don't say anything and then claim it's exclusive. It's so much fun. It's amazing how people latch onto it as what's going on. It's so much fun. I think if you don't take it too seriously, it's actually good.
Yeah, I mean, Hotline makes a point there. If Kirkus was available and he's the one that bring forward, that makes some sense. Yeah, we're not going to finish the season with 3 left backs. It's just not going to happen.
No.
I could see a deal for Kirkus being done for the summer, 100%. But at the same time, if you do that, what are you telling Robertson and Tsimikas between now and the end of the season when we're going to need them both?
Yeah.
That's true. I think they both know that one of them is probably on the outs.
I think they both know one of them's out and the other one's going to be a squad player.
Eventually, yeah, but that's the natural evolution of football. You can't play all the time. So
yeah, I mean, I think out of the two, it'll be Tsimikas that goes. Not because I hate Tsimikas, I just think you'll get more money for him.
But I could definitely see a possibility of a deal for Kirkes being done and agreed for the summer.
Well,
or
Soboslai,
even done and sent back on loan kind of thing. But
yeah.
I
Well,
definitely can't
Soboslai's
see
already
him.
said that Kirkes is his best mate. Who's your best mate in the Premier League? Kirkes. Oh, there we go.
Is there another Hungarian in the Premier League?
Probably not. No, but
Probably
he's
not.
he's just letting you know that he's my best mate. He's really good.
Yes. Do you know what? That's a clever journalistic question to turn around and say, well, who would you really like to sign us to sign as well? Kirk has been best mate.
Yeah.
It's asking the second question first. It's like,
yeah.
Who's your best mate in the Premier League? Oh, it's Kirkes. Yeah, Bournemouth. Yeah, really good player. Oh, so you're looking to play with him next season then? I don't.
That'd be lovely if that happened.
Yeah, it's one of them. Look, I've liked them fucking young. So, but yeah, look, we'll see what happens. I just don't expect anything to happen with us. I think if you're buying into January for this season at the moment, I think you're in panic mode. You're either in panic mode or you're in rebuild mode.
You've had a bit of an injury crisis in one area, like a big one.
Exactly, and we just haven't. We're not in crisis. We're not in an injury situation. We're chugging along nicely. You listen to Harvey Elliott's interview post-match where he talks about the whole squad being a family. Why on earth would you want to disrupt that?
Well, that puts to bed that puts to bed that I think Harvey's leaving. He's like, I'm happy. I want to play more, but I know. But he's also like, he says that's the game. I've got to take my chance when I get it and work hard. So, to be fair, it's the attitude you want from a player.
Yeah. I just can't see a situation where. I mean, look, I think it'll be Costas who goes in the summer. By the way,
I do.
I think it's not so much his wages. I think he's a really likable player. I think the squad love him, but I think you'll get a good fee for him. But I also think the leadership that Andy Robertson brings to the squad is valuable, and having that experience and that leadership around the squad, you cannot buy that. You just can't. And it's very difficult to replace. Costas, he's not
29.
He's not wet behind the ears either. But I just think that Andy Robertson is one I'd like to see. I'd like to keep around.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
I honestly don't see left back as an immediate must fix at all costs. Otherwise, the wheel's going to fall off and everything's going to blow up either. So
no, not with a 6-point gap in a game in hand. I think that gives you that little bit of comfort.
It's not even that. I'm looking at their performances and they're absolutely fine. I've no real issue with them. I mean, you're really nitpicking at the squad at the minute when you're looking for things to find out. It's very rare. Like I said, I didn't watch the United game where Trent had a howler, but you're really clutching at straws to find those games across the season so far for any player.
But as we said, as bad as Trent was, probably Virgil's the only one who had a decent game. The rest were. It was one of those games, Kev. A bit like the Forest one, where you go like 8 of them are crap, and then the subs came on and they were just as crap. It was one of those. It did have the element often. It did have the element where you even look at the manager going, well, the tactics didn't work, and every sub he brought on made us worse. Which, to be fair, you look at 2 games, so it's one of them. But listen, let's go because you and me are back. Well, on Saturday it's me, you, Ashley, Matt.
Well, we'll see.
Well, hopefully, as long as you haven't blown away.
As long as I haven't blown away, yeah. Because I'll tell you what, man, since we've been on, it's picked up somewhat chronic. I can hear it whistling that you wouldn't believe. I'm surprised it's not coming over the mic, to be honest. It's gone really,
that's what that buzzing in your ears. It's not my phone. It's your wind.
Oh, no.
The wind going in your ear. Cool. Right, on that happy note, enjoy yourselves. Take care, and we'll speak very, very soon.